These rebels are changing the way we work. Get the power to transform the way you work without having to change your workflow. Now all the insights you need are only one click away with Lexis for Microsoft Office.
Speak your way to a bigger law practice. Francine Ward, copyright and trademark lawyer, author, and motivational speaker. Francine.
Thank you. And away. For the last 3 days, I was attending a trial conference down in Los Angeles, sponsored by ABOTA, the American Board of Trial Advocates. I'm not a trial lawyer, but one of the things that really worked for me down there was my understanding of speaking. I don't have a clue what trial lawyers do, but that actually helped me a lot. And so why do we speak? Well, number one is lawyers, we speak, you can get paid to speak. That is the biggest reason. You get paid, you're perceived as an expert, because 9 times out of 10, when you're up on a platform, people perceive that you know what you're talking about, even if you don't. You get paid to speak. You get business from speaking. Almost every single time I'm speaking at an event, a conference or somewhere, I get someone coming up to me afterwards saying, would you come and speak at my association? Would you come and speak in my group? Would you come and speak? So lawyers get paid to speak. Oh, this is good. How would you choose your topic? Some of you might be thinking, well, number one is lawyers, our practice area, that is our topic. I'm a copyright trademark lawyer. I focus on copyrights, trademarks, internet, and publishing. So when I go to speak, I have a ready-made topic, as you would. Also, if you're considering choosing a topic, you think about what's hot in your area. What's hot, what's a current trend, what's an emerging trend in your area. So for example, in my area right now, social media is one of the hottest areas around. Social media legal issues. Everyone's into social media, but very few people are actually considering some of the legal ramifications of what they're out there doing on Facebook and Twitter. So you can use your topic and you spin it, you niche it, you scare people. In fact, when I'm speaking tomorrow for the IP section on social media legal issues. That scares people because, again, you're out there using Facebook, but the next thing you know, you might get sued for defamation. So knowing how to do it. So how do you craft your talk? Well, the first thing is I like to keep the end in mind. I think about how long do I have to speak. Now, never do I speak for 6 minutes. Never. I usually have 30 minutes, an hour and a half. But what you do is you start from the end. You figure you have 6 minutes, you have 30 minutes, you work your way backwards. You break your topic up. And then I like to think about what's the format? Are you a panel speaker? Are you a plenary speaker, a keynote speaker? Are you speaking as a breakout speaker, webinar, teleconference? Depending upon your format will depend upon how you, in fact, distribute or disseminate your content. Then you want to know, how do you know what to talk about? In terms of what kind of information do you disseminate? I like to think in terms of questions that people are interested in. When I'm putting together a talk, I think of at least 7 to 10 questions based on my topic information, and I like to think in terms of the what, when, where, how, and why questions. Every time I'm doing a talk, that's exactly how I start. So for example, if I'm doing a talk to a group of entrepreneurs on copyright, I might think of questions like, what's a copyright? What can be protected by a copyright? What cannot be protected by a copyright? How do you protect your copyright? How do you avoid being sued? And so I think in terms of, again, about 7 to 10 questions, and then I reduce those questions to about 3 or 4 overriding points. So I might have one point that might be the copyright basics, which would include what's a copyright, you know, how long it is, who owns it. Another overriding point might be how do you protect the copyright, which would include registration. It would include being mindful of those testy contracts that you might sign that might, in fact, have copyright implications. So again, I put it into about 3 to 4 overriding topics. Phew. Next thing you want to consider when you're putting together a talk, how are you going to open? Now, I opened with a story about ABOTA, but if I'm doing a talk for a longer period of time, I'm going to give it a little bit more detail. I'm going to give it a little bit more flesh. But how you open is critical. So you might open your talk with a topic, with a story. You might open your talk with a statistic. Same thing with your close. You want to have an open and a close that catches people's attention. The open catches the attention, and the close is going to bring it all together. Another component when you're considering crafting your talk, after your open and your close, is interaction. a lot of speakers don't like to include interaction, and I believe it's because they're in fact afraid to engage with the audience because they're afraid the audience might take control. I love interacting with my audience. If I'm doing a talk for 30 minutes or more, you better believe I'm out there either asking questions, I'm giving them some kind of engaging exercise which makes it interesting for them. The other thing you want to include in your talk are stories. Stories add flesh to your points. Otherwise, you're just giving some really boring points, and it's easy to put people to sleep, but stories keep them engaged because people can put themselves in stories. So, where do you speak? You're trying to figure out where do you speak? I say go where your clients are. My clients are entrepreneurs and small businesses, so I'm going to speak in places where they are to be found. I speak at business associations. I speak everywhere. That's where you speak. So here are a couple of resources. The National Speakers Association. If you're interested in learning more about speaking, I, in fact, have some handouts and brochures about NSA. If you have never spoken before and you're interested in learning how to talk, Toastmasters might be a consideration. I don't know Toastmasters. I am a member of National Speakers Association. But Toastmasters, I understand from people that I know, it's a great place for beginners to get started. Okay, bottom line is, as a lawyer, you can speak your way to a bigger practice. You may not think that you can, but when you speak, people will hire you, and that's what we're here for. That's it. Thanks.